All right, welcome back to the Underdog Wealth Academy. I am excited for today's guest. I have Gui Bergeron with me here today. Welcome, Guy.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Guy, I'll intro him real quick. So Gui and I work together. We're business partners because Guy runs Frontline. He's the CEO of Frontline Pest Control. And we at Pointe Marketing, which is my role at Pointe, is to run our sales force. We act as a sales partner to Frontline. So they operate and take care of the accounts that we sell for them, and then they retain those customers long term. So because you're in charge of the service company and I'm in charge of the sales company, we work very closely together. Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, man. So we've been working together for how long? 5 years?
Yeah, I think we started back in 2020, which, if you remember, was
COVID.
Actually not supposed to happen in 2020.
Yeah.
It was COVID and things just kind of went crazy. But
I think
2020 we started. We were intending to start 21, but we initiated in 2020.
Yeah, I think in that year we were like in some markets that were pretty tough, like from a regulation standpoint with COVID. They were like kicking us out of states and stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway, we ended up hitting you up halfway through the summer, and you were like, "Bring it on, let's figure it out."
It was a wild summer. I think I talked to Gabe initially that January. I was just trying to plan for the next year.
Yeah.
Because we were making some adjustments with how we wanted to run door to door and approach that and focus on our operation. And then I can't remember the state, but that weren't allowed to go there. I've got reps that need a place to be for 6 weeks, and
yep.
Do you have a place for them? We're like, all right, let's do it. So we, Richmond has never been the same.
Yeah.
So,
So awesome. Yeah. We kicked butt that year. And then, honestly, you guys have been such an amazing partner and such a high level of trust, right? To do anything effectively in business, you have to have trust. And so it's been super fun. But
it's funny, not to digress on that, but I think it's important because when it started, because we had run our own door-to-door teams from the beginning. Right. Our business is founded on door-to-door, and that's where our background really was. But it's, as you know, a lot of work, and in the off season especially, from September, October, all the way till the summer starts. It's recruiting, it's meetings, it's training, it's trying to get ready for the next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we felt that we were reaching a stage where we really needed to dial in our operation, and that needs to be a year-round thing. And
Focus,
kind of just started poking around. Like, I know there are companies that market door-to-door for pest control companies, and just kind of want to see what was out there. So I remember when I first met with Gabe, I figured out probably like 10 minutes into our conversation that he was kind of interviewing us,
like qualifying you.
Yeah, like
you're
like
a good fit.
Because I don't want to send my reps to a bad company and
right.
break trust with our team.
Right.
And I was doing the same thing. I was like, I don't want to hire a company that's going to break trust with. So I kind of like paused, like, I think this is going to work. I think value wise,
I think we both have standards.
Like we want the same things, and we both agreed. And honestly, it has been, there's always things to figure out and discuss and make sure that we're aligned and communicating. But when the right values align, then it's easier to do that.
Amen.
Sure. So that was a neat discovery for me. Like, okay, like this will work.
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing for the right reasons that I'm doing to you right now. And
we both of our programs care a lot about quality for sure, and keeping our reputation intact, which is big. So Guy also has 6 kids. Yep. And was a bishop, now in the stake presidency. So you're busy just on a lot of fronts: family, faith,
busy,
running a $30 million pest control company, just lots of balls in the air, if you will. So I'm excited to kind of chat about all of that today. And
that's easy stuff for me to talk about. So I'm excited.
Maybe let's talk about your upbringing. I know you're from Canada, and I know you bounced around a lot. Like, was your dad in the military? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So my dad, whether people know this or not, Canada does have a Navy.
Yeah.
I always joke. It's like we got a boat on each side and just like hold it down.
Yeah.
The north side's frozen, so we're good there. But so my dad was in the Canadian Navy for 38 years. He joined when he was 17, and that was his career.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom and dad are both from the Montreal area of Canada, which is the French-speaking part of Canada, so in the province of Quebec. And so growing up, we moved. I was born in Nova Scotia, which is the East Coast, but Yeah, moved on average probably about every 2 years.
Wow.
And these aren't just up the street moves, right? We're moving cross country and
in Canada though, like
all in
all in Canada.
All in Canada except one move was in Rhode Island, actually.
Cool.
My first foreign experience was in the great state of Rhode Island, which was awesome. I loved it. And actually that was the longest I'd ever stayed in one place. It was 4 years. So I think I was 12 when we moved there. Cool. So it was kind of a good years for me, just entering my teenage years and making friends, figuring things out. And but yeah, mostly in Canada, then moved back to Canada. I was raised bilingual. I went to French school my whole life until Rhode Island. No French schools in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And I moved back to Canada, graduated from a French high school. And so lived in English-speaking parts of Canada, but spoke French at home, spoke French at school. I didn't realize that was different or unique until I moved to Rhode Island. I was like, oh, this is different.
Right.
And, so that's I guess a unique maybe detail.
That's cool. And then you were a baseball player, right?
Yeah, anything with a ball. I was not the prototypical Canadian. I did play 1 year of hockey, ironically, while we were living in Rhode Island. But yeah, loved baseball, basketball.
Cool.
Played soccer up until my sophomore year of high school. Played a little bit of football, but
cool.
Baseball, basketball, I'd say were my top two. Yeah.
Cool. And then went on a mission and ended up at BYU. You served your mission in Korea.
Yep. Yeah. So so back then, I mean, the age to serve mission was 19. So I did my freshman year at BYU. Initially got there actually to play baseball.
Mm-hmm. I remember that, yeah.
But I got cut 6 weeks later. That's a whole different story. Yeah. But it was kind of like this, like God telling me, like, I got you where you need to be. I was really naive. Like growing up in Canada, like I just didn't understand. I knew I wanted to go to BYU, but I didn't understand what was required to do that.
Right.
So I was like, it's like, got you where you need to be. Forget this baseball stuff. You're not good enough anyways. Yeah. And let's focus on important things. Well, so so I did my freshman year. Yeah. It's for my mission in South Korea, which was amazing. Loved that experience. And came back and met my wife about almost 2 years to the day after I came home from my mission. We got married. And she's from Seattle. And
cool.
That's kind of where we kind of started this pest control journey, was shortly after we got married. But it's pretty neat to see how that path went.
Yeah, very cool. And 6 kids, man. Did you guys want to have that many kids when you guys initially got married?
Yeah, so we're 5 kids in my family, and my wife, she's number 7 of 8. So large families. Again, probably some naivety there, right? We're like, we come from big families, like we can do this.
Yeah.
And we can, but there's a lot that comes with that. But yeah, we always felt like, if health was good, let's try to have them close together and have a whole bunch of them. And there's definitely been some nights laying down wondering, why did we do it this way? But my youngest is 5 now, so we kind of exited what I call the trenches, the wilderness years of having kids, where it's just rough. You know, it's rough in the sense that, you're sleep deprived and the kids are young and they're very dependent on you. Yeah, you've got young kids. And so, but it's fun. My oldest is turning 14 this weekend and my youngest is 5. So there's, the last couple of years, there's been some fun discoveries as a couple and as a family. Like, oh, this is what this is about. So,
yeah, I think a lot of people don't get to, like, no one gets to the end of their life and looks back and says, I wish I had less kids. Rarely. You know what I'm saying? Like,
probably
it's one of those, like, when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, like, it's a lot of work. It's a big sacrifice. But I feel like as life, like, it's almost like the ROI comes. I mean, it comes throughout the journey too, but, like, I just, I think that, like, such a cool second half of life is, like, having a bunch of kids around you that you just get to, like, go experience life with and impact and mentor. And I can't just think of anything more fulfilling than that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cliche advice, but this whole idea of enjoying the journey and the stage that you're in, I think, I don't know, if we're always caught up in looking forward to what's next or what this next phase is, then I don't know. I feel like you miss out on a lot of things right now and important lessons to learn. So requires some discipline to, like, stay present, like, now. And so we try to be intentional about that, not just be too future focused. Mm-hmm. So but yeah, I agree. I think, and I don't know that you could appreciate I don't know, the later years of rearing children without the early years, and they're all great for different reasons. Like,
for sure.
I see little babies now or kids, and like, I'm like, oh,
I miss that.
I remember other people doing the same with us, like, oh, they're so cute and little, like, oh, you're gonna want them this small. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's easy for you to say, like, you're getting a full night's sleep every night, or whatever. But so it's good. I think just the intention of, now is the right time to be engaged.
Right.
Don't dwell in the past, and don't let that dictate your future, but don't be paralyzed by the unknown of the future. Just be really present. I think
every season is beautiful, and it's like seasons are interesting because you can view seasons as like there's 4 seasons in a year, but it's also like, as a human you live 80 years, and like there's some level of just like life, from like 0 to 20 to 25 is a season, and then 25 to 50 is a season. And I think Tony Robbins actually talks about that, and it's just like every season or couple decades of life just they have their own challenges, but they're also their own benefits. And so it's
great. And I talk to my parents often, and all my grandparents are passed, but my wife's grandparents are, so it's interesting talking to them and recognizing and looking ahead, so you can learn from that. But I don't know, I think appreciating the now is important.
I want to ask, and I kind of asked you before this just to make sure I can ask it, and we're going to digress and talk about pest control and stuff, but I want to ask you about your daughter. You lost, so you have 6 children, but one of them passed away. Has it been 2 years?
3 years this month.
3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe just speak to that and kind of how you guys, I know you're a man of faith, and I can't even imagine how difficult that would be, right? I have a 2-year-old now and 6-year-old, and like I think my greatest anxiety in life is like losing one of my kids. And so like maybe just speak to how in the heck because from my vantage point, you've just been so strong and so tough. But maybe just speak to that if you would.
So Rachel was our 5th child, my 3rd daughter, and she came like a rocket. That delivery story was one for the books, like a movie scene, like flying through red lights in the middle of the night. Like my brakes were smoking when we got to the hospital. Like I just like, I'm not delivering this baby. Like I'm not doing that. So like from the beginning, it was kind of like, she came quick, and she was actually diagnosed with Down syndrome. We did not know that till a week after she was born.
Oh, interesting.
When she was born, there were, the doctors check every kid, and there were just some traits that she had, that were just like, let's do the test. And so they did the chromosome test, and she came back with Down syndrome. So that was that month from the time she was born to, because we were literally in the middle of a move to Utah. We were living in Maryland at the time. And when we left our house, I'm not even answering your question, but the story's funny.
No, this is great.
We left our house to go to the hospital, and my wife never returned back to our townhome. While she was in the hospital,
oh, no, you moved.
I left for an afternoon and moved us out of the townhome with help from friends. And like when she was discharged, we were in temporary housing until
Oh, wow.
until we moved out here.
So she went through the hospital and never went back. Like once you had the baby, you were out to Utah.
That's right. Basically. Yeah. So all of it was, there was just a lot going on. Big move. Having a new baby, number 5, is a lot by itself. And then this news that, and your daughter has Down syndrome. You're going to have to go run a whole bunch of tests because, I don't know if you know people with Down syndrome, but they're born usually with some acute. Some acute medical issues. So she's born with a heart defect. She had open heart surgery when she was 5 months old. Anyway, so it's interesting. You kind of said it, like you worry about your kids. We tend to worry about when they're little, their physical safety. Mm-hmm. At this stage, my oldest, let's see, how old would he have been? I don't know. He's probably like 7. Mm-hmm. But I just had this like, I don't know, this moment of clarity. I'm not going to say it was like a voice, but just in my mind realizing like, you're not going to actually have to worry about her like she's fine, actually,
Mm.
in the same way that you do your other kids.
Mm.
Right? Because like, what do we want for our kids? We want them to be good humans and make good choices.
Yeah.
To, you mentioned faith. Like, I want them to avoid what I would call tragedies in their lives.
Yeah.
And they're going to result from potentially bad choices.
Mm.
With Rachel, I'd never, like, that was gone instantly.
From the
get-go.
beginning.
I knew because
Wow.
of her diagnosis, like, she's not going to have to worry, and we're not going to have to worry about those same things maybe as are the kids. So from the beginning, there was always a bit of a liberation knowing that.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
So now the
That's really
focus,
interesting.
the focus was more like, we just have to care for her physically. Like,
Yeah.
she's going to have some physical challenges. Of course, we worried, like, when she got older, like, our kid's going to pick on her, like, you worry about that a little bit. But so from the beginning, there was kind of that reassurance, like, you actually don't have to worry, like, she's good. And that's true, and I still feel that now, like, that's, and so she passed away. It was sudden. She actually had a pretty clean bill of health, but she passed away as a result of just some health complications after a minor surgery that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And that rocked us. I mean, I was serving as the bishop at the time. I'd just been called as the bishop 6 months ago, or 6 months prior. And we were completely rocked. Anyways, it's hard to pinpoint exactly, like, how did we get to where we're at now? Like, we're doing great right now. Like,
Right.
I consider it one of the great miracles of my life that, like, I can actually wake up every morning and feel tremendous joy, peace. I can smile, I can laugh, I can enjoy business. I can, and that's a real thing. Like, in the scriptures, it talks about how, Jesus said that he would come to heal the brokenhearted. And I always thought that was a nice phrase. Like, oh yeah, of course. Like, but like, my heart was completely broken. And I can honestly tell you that my heart is fixed.
Wow.
I'm not the same. Like, I still have my moments. I miss her every single day.
100%.
There's pictures of her all over our house, and we talk about her all the time. But so that was a good thing for me to learn. But I don't know. You talked about, like, being strong and all these sorts of things, and I appreciate that. I'm sure from the outside, people look at that, because I used to do the same thing. I'd see people go through hard things, and I think, man, how could they have done that? You know, or whatever. And even now, like, one of the humbling things was, after we kind of, post-funeral, family leaves, you're kind of back to just you and your family. And it's time to resume, like, life and try to go back to work, and kids want to go back to school, and they want to go to their practices and
the mundane,
play with their friends.
Stuff.
It's okay to watch a movie and, like, do these sorts of things. And I don't know. If I were to pinpoint a moment, my wife and I remember we're in our bedroom, and it was kind of this, like, what do we do now conversation. Like, everyone's gone. It's just us now.
Yeah.
How do we move forward? And it's a critical moment. And I am a believer that we all ultimately have a choice in the midst of whatever hard thing we're going through. We really do.
Yeah.
And I'm very sympathetic of people that are at that, that fork, right? Like, and so for us, it was this: do we choose faith, everything that we've been taught, everything that we believe and that we know, and do we just trust that and we do our best? Or do we choose something else? And that something else looks like anger or doubt, asking for a medical review, suing a doctor, I don't know, substance abuse, whatever, like, anything to just try to, like, resolve this hole that you have in your life. And it wasn't a hard decision, but we still had to make it. Like, we didn't, like, dwell at this fork in the road very long. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that my wife and I were on the same page there, because one of us could have gone one way and the other maybe the other way.
And it kind of does take two to both choose faith, right? Because because those things oftentimes lead to divorce or lead to those things can rock a family if you're not on the same page, because one might choose
the
faith, but
statistics
the other
are not
one
favorable in this situation for a marriage and a family to do well.
It kind of takes both of you heading in that same direction,
right?
And you're saying that night there was just something about, like, hey, we're just gonna choose the faith word and not the other path.
And you know this, like faith is always future focused.
Yeah.
Like it has to be by nature of what it is. And so, so for as heartbroken and as devastating as all that was, we just started taking those little steps. Like, okay, let's get dressed.
Yeah.
Let's stop crying in our rooms as best we can. And like when the emotions come, welcome them, but like just try.
Yeah.
So one of the humbling things was, and I actually, I only served as a bishop for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I served in a bishopric prior, and
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and I, and then our stake split, was called into the stake presidency. But I don't know. I think there are probably a lot of reasons for why I served at that time, but I really do feel like one of them was for me to learn how to navigate this mega tragedy in our lives and this trial, right, that we're dealing with.
So you think having that calling at that time actually was like on purpose by God, designed that way?
It was on purpose for probably a lot of reasons, but like for me,
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of reasons, just massive support from people on the board. Like,
Yeah.
If you belong to any congregation,
Right.
There typically is a pretty strong relationship with the bishop or
Yeah.
the pastor or whoever's
yeah.
running that congregation. And so
Sure.
a lot of compassion, just an outpouring, like
Yeah.
it's overwhelming to think about. And you kind of start feeling guilty in a way, like, how do I repay or even say thank you? Like it feels so insufficient,
Yeah.
right? To like,
Because I'm receiving so many deposits like
Yeah,
from
just-
other people.
yeah. And so like, but we needed that. Like we felt that lift, and it was real. The other half of it though was the moment I, picked up my appointments again as a bishop, sat in that chair, and people come in for their appointments, and not every appointment's like this like big like thing, but you meet with people that are dealing with stuff. And I remember just having this moment of clarity talking, and I don't even remember the circumstance, but remember thinking like the real tragedy is actually spiritual death. And it was just like this confirmed, like physical death, as tragic as it is, I don't want to minimize, and you've dealt with some hardships in your life too. Like physical death is a real thing. It's a real human experience
100%.
that we're all going to have to face, right?
Yeah.
Or have faced already. And it is hard, but it was just this moment of like spiritual death is actually more tragic.
Mm-hmm.
It's riskier. It's more dangerous,
It's more eternal. It's more like the physical one is just like if you believe in the resurrection, you believe in the plan of happiness, it's like part of the
like
it's
Jesus
a step,
Christ came to
in the
overcome
process.
physical death
Yeah.
and spiritual death.
Right.
And physical death we will all overcome,
Right.
because of his resurrection, right? And that's I love Easter, right? It's got a whole new meaning for me now.
I bet.
But like I've always loved that holiday because it's just like, but what's interesting is that that's irrespective of my choices. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual death, on the other hand, it's like, it's actually very reliant on my choices. Christ did what he did
for that piece.
but
like,
for me to be able to choose it, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be forced
Right.
upon me. And so I don't know, when that clicked, and honestly, this is going to sound maybe terrible to some people, but like, your mind is a weird thing where sometimes we try to compare, like we're just trying to gauge, like, am I handling my hardship appropriately, like
Right.
relative to what other humans are doing, right?
Uh-huh.
But like, you just hear people's stories, you meet with them, and like, I just found myself thinking like, I think that's harder. Like, yes, like what I dealt with, and people tell me at times like, oh no, I don't think so. Like, the thing we dealt with is the hardest thing that you could ever think of. But like,
yeah.
I don't know, like, and maybe it's because it was Rachel and her Down syndrome,
Right.
her innocence as a child,
Right.
And like, there was nothing that, like, she was fine from the beginning. So maybe there's a component of that makes that easier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, God, obviously, it feels like he prepared you from the beginning. Like looking back now, I would imagine it's like, I mean, if you've had those feelings and promptings right as she was born, it was almost like in a funky way. Looking back, it's like he was preparing you for that, right? Like he gave you those feelings almost preemptively before anything happened, so that, and it's not that it made it easy. It just put you in a position where you had an amazing perspective on her life, and then also you're again you're also a man of faith, and like I think that the truth is like when you have that knowledge and that faith, like it just puts you in a position where you can handle it. Doesn't make it easy, but it gives you answers, and it gives you the muscle to get through it. And I so much admire, how you've handled that, and we're always here for you. And as you know,
I felt it from a lot of people. I mean, you included, and others. Like we're going to talk about Frontline, and like my relationships at work, they're just beyond just work.
Yeah,
man, Frontline. I'm just going to generalize Frontline because it's hard, and I don't want to forget anyone, but like collectively, that was really powerful for me. Like I've got a picture, and I'd be happy to share it with you, but it's at the funeral, and it's graveside.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this little Frontline reunion. I know that sounds weird at a funeral, but like,
no, yeah,
they were there, and we took this photo. Previous people who worked for Frontline, their spouses, and like we just had this picture, and it means a lot to me. I wish the circumstances were different, but because of the circumstance, really just highlighted like what we're doing. Like we're not just playing business,
right?
Like it's not just this game that we're like, yeah, let's just go make some money, and there's people along the way that help us do that. Like relationships mean a lot to me beyond just business, and it is tied to my faith. I'm vocal about that. Like I believe that a big, perhaps the greatest reason we're here is, yes, to learn how to love God and to trust and obey and follow. But really our relationships with others. Like I suspect that judgment will probably look a lot like, how did you treat other people? And I can't separate that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like when I'm the bishop or, if I'm a primary teacher, I'm like, I can't separate how I treat other people outside of work and in work.
Yeah, I think it's all impossible to. Yeah, no, and like the work journey it's a life journey. Like I feel the same way about my partners. It's just like we're doing it together, and the financial piece is part of that. But like, we're gonna all develop a ton. We're all gonna go through things together, and those relationships are huge. You spend a lot of your time at work. Like as humans, we spend a lot of our
100%.
It's like you just do. And so like I think it's such a cool concept, like to go to work with people that you enjoy, that are pleasant to be around, that you can go deep with, and that you have something tragic like that happen and they show up for you, and that's huge. So maybe speak to your relationship maybe upstream with the owners of Frontline, and then also you're responsible for a lot of people, and just speak to your experience there, how long you've been there, what's that been like. So I want to get into, because some of my listeners have sold for Frontline.
Yeah.
Multiple. They've maybe
and
sold.
We love you. I don't know which camera I'm supposed to look to you, but like you work for great people. Like, and that's what I really like about the relationships, the partnership, is that like, it's not just us. Sometimes we get caught up in our own little world. Like, oh yeah, we're doing things really well. And like, we know what we want, but then you start kind of getting outside of yourself and realizing like, oh, well, actually, there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of great things. And so, it's a cool thing to start tying those relationships together. And that's been a fun discovery for me. I didn't always believe that when I first started. So I guess to your question, like chronologically, I started with Frontline in 2011.
Okay. So 15 years.
Yeah. I got married in 2010. My wife was just finishing up her last semester of school. And then I was going to graduate school in Pittsburgh. I have an MPA, so public administration. My undergrad's in geography. For anyone of your listeners who
that's awesome.
Like sometimes we get tied up in the degree and like, exactly, am I going to do? What's my passion?
Yeah.
Like,
what internship do I need to get?
Yeah, like you're 20 something, right? And you feel like the decisions you make now, and I don't want to minimize the decisions that you make then, like they matter, but like sometimes we may put too much weight on the degree and what that looks like. I didn't know. I had interests like. So my interests were kind of in international affairs. After my mission, I now spoke 3 languages, and with my dad's career, just kind of had a natural interest in the world and cultures. And so I thought it'd be something like that. Well, go to grad school to the University of Pittsburgh, take my first class, my first semester. It's Public Administration 101. And we're probably halfway through this class. And I'm like, I never want to work for the government. like I don't want to do this. I don't want to work any public sector job.
Yeah.
It's like somehow I have to go home and explain to my wife that like I drug us out here for this degree and I'm going to rule out half of our options as a result of this. So anyways, so I guess my point there is like, you don't need to feel painted into a corner because of your degree, even your prior experience or whatever. And you really can pivot into something different if you want to.
I mean, I've heard something crazy. Like most people change careers or like even industries like 7 times in their life. Like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it's not this like, it's not this kind of linear, like, I do this job and then I'm going to work in this space for the rest of my life. It's just, I don't know. Like, you have to be willing to kind of
I agree with
roll with the punches. And I think to your point, it's not that the decisions don't matter. It's not that what you study does not matter at all. It's just like, don't overthink it. And if you have a couple years in college where you're a little fuzzy on your future, like, it doesn't mean that you're doomed.
Just fine.
Like, you're going to be fine.
You'll be just fine. And like, and I don't know if there's a generational component to this, but like perhaps like our parents' generation, it was maybe more the traditional, like
it did feel
follow
that way.
this line, do it for 30, 35 years, retire.
Yeah.
You'll have your pension or whatever. Like you've done it long enough at this point where you progress. So like,
well, the other thing for
that
me
shift
with that
might be hard for some people. Like, that's what I know from my dad or my mom or my uncle or whatever. But like, I'm not having the same experience, and that could be maybe a little confusing.
I think the other thing that was hard for me with that too is that same generation right now is teaching. Like they're the professors, and nothing against professors. Like there's amazing professors, but they're
great ones.
But they're in that same generation of like, you got to get the internship to go work for the corporation that then leads you to the entry level job that then leads you to this. Like that was that generation, and I do think the game has changed a little bit.
I think it's changed.
So anyway,
so this is the stage of life that I'm in, like newly married. I didn't really care much about money, honestly, until I got engaged. Like that was a moment of like, okay, like I need to be more serious about what this looks like to have a family and to support that and to try to build that up. So a lot of naivety in my earlier years, in spite of good intentions and trying to do the right things, but I didn't care much for that. So while I'm in grad school, I had my brother and 2 of my brother-in-laws had done door-to-door with Frontline. And so I've known about this. I just wasn't interested in it. I was like, that's good for you guys. I was working at the MTC, loved that job. So I was fine. But it was time to get serious about how are we going to do this, right? Graduate school is not cheap. And so, like a lot of kids who get into this, it was a means to an end, just trying to pay for school. I was not a great salesman in the beginning. My wife actually sold with me our first month, and she outsold me that first month.
It's usually how that goes.
Accounts, yeah. And then we discovered that she was pregnant with our first kid, and so that was the end of that. And for her, she, just tired and just, we felt like better for you to just stay at home and focus on your health and first pregnancy, right? So a lot of variables there. It really wasn't until so we start May 1st, mid-July was where I kind of started feeling some momentum. It's more about doing the small things consistently and not just some magic phrase or some, I don't know, I don't even know what I thought success looked like as a door-to-door salesman before. I knew that I could work hard and that I could push, and what I mean by push is push myself to overcome the rejection. There was a lot of it. My days looked like a 1, a 0, a 1, a 0, a 1, a 1, a 0, a 2, a 0.
Right.
There's a lot of inconsistency. So by the end of that summer, July on, the zeros started disappearing. It's more consistent 1s and 2s. And I would say a good first summer for a first year rep. It ended well. But back to school, was asked to co-manage an office the next summer, which is, again, new experience, knowing how to lead others and help them with their struggles with a tough job, helping them navigate that. You guys know all about that.
Was this in Baltimore? Where?
So first summer was in Virginia, Northern Virginia, and then my last 2 summers were in Maryland, out of our Baltimore office.
Cool.
And I had a moment my second summer where I sold 8 in one day. Previously, the most I'd ever sold in one day, I think, was 4. And I think I'd done that maybe once or twice. Again, I was kind of a 2 a day kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And after that first month of my second summer, I kind of started redoing my numbers. Like, okay, how many days left do I have in the summer? You know, like work backwards from your end goal and break it down to like this daily goal, right? And I was hoping to sell 200 accounts my second summer. And this new math that I just did indicated that my goal should now be over 300 accounts for my second summer. And that was exciting, but also kind of this terrifying moment of like, I need to live up to this because I have the data demonstrates that I can
it's
actually
possible.
do it. Yeah. And so I had to now hold myself accountable to this reality that the data told me, right? This wasn't just some pie in the sky hope and numbers like, I'm going to do this. Like, no, the data says that you can do this. And it was very empowering, but like the pressure kind of went up too with, I was like, ooh, like,
right.
That's a lot, right? 200, I felt pretty comfortable with. So I don't know, like it's such a great job because it's the first time in my life where I directly attributed earnings with my inputs.
Yeah.
Like 1-to-1 ratio. Like literally you get out of it like what you will put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to minimize other types of employment or forms of compensation, whether it's hourly or salary or a mix of bonus with a base. Like there's a lot of ways to compensate for different roles, but for me, it was just such a great lesson of like, okay, you actually will do fine as long as you continue to be consistent with these inputs that actually lead to success. And so,
very cool.
Anyways, we can share a whole bunch of war stories about the door-to-door days, but so had a great, I sold 318 my second summer, came back my third summer. That was a shortened one because I graduated. We're now pregnant with number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And at this stage, like I'm telling Frontline, like, hey, I'm graduated. I'll sell for probably 6 weeks. Yeah. So like graduate in April, I'll sell to like end of May because my son was due in June and we're moving to Seattle where my wife's from. And I literally said bye to everyone. Like,
yeah, like
see ya. And everyone's like, hey, good luck. You know, let us know how the baby goes. Send us pictures, all this. And
right.
And so we're in Seattle. Tyler's born. We're kind of just recovering from grad school, sales, baby number 2 now. And, you know, my first 2 boys are 17 months apart. So we're still new parents and figuring this out.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call from Darren Kirkham, one of our owners. We have 3 owners, great men, some of the greatest men that I know. Yeah. Just really genuinely, just great people, which matters to me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't know how much that would matter to me. Again, in my naivety, I just thought like, you go to work, like do your job, get paid, and like the relationships don't matter that much, but it matters a lot. We call him Kirkham because we have 2 Darrens. So Kirkham called me and, you know, that wasn't like an abnormal thing. Just call me. I thought he'd be checking in on baby and, you know, what's your plan or whatever. And he offers me a job to help run their operations. You know, at this stage, Frontline's maybe about a $4 or $5 million revenue company.
From Utah, or where was he offering you the job?
So this was going to be in Maryland. I would have to move to Maryland.
Got it. Oh yeah, because you lived out there in that role for.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right. So our operation then was primarily on the East Coast. We had a small operation in Nashville as well, but the business was growing, and you know, I think they recognize that in order to reach, there's kind of these benchmarks as a business where like you need to kind of reinvest in the business to hit those next tiers.
Yep.
And I think this was one of those moments where they just needed someone to help streamline and organize their operation. And it wasn't just like, let's just sell as much as we can and service as much as we can. Let's actually try to.
Do you think that they saw, because like I've worked with a lot of pest control operators, some really great ones and some not awesome ones, you know, because we're a marketing company. So I've seen all of it, you know. Yeah. And I mean this, not blowing smoke. You're like top of the list in terms of just like pest operator, detail oriented systems guy. Yeah. So you think they recognized that in you, or what was it in your sales style or in your manager style what do you think they recognized in you to where they were like, hey, we got to get.
This is the real answer, because I asked this question. Yeah. Because candidly, on paper, I was not qualified.
Yeah, you weren't yet an operator. You were just a sales leader.
I'd done well at sales. Yeah. And but like I just graduated my MPA. I did in grad school, get accepted to this leadership fellowship, a little bit of an exclusive thing within my program. And that was probably the highlight of my grad school. So like maybe some of that. So I asked them later. I didn't ask them when they offered it, because you know, you want to take the job and not put question marks in people's heads. But what it really boiled down to for them, I would say that it was risky in the sense that there was nothing objective outside of my sales performance that gave them a lot of confidence that like I could do this. But they were really focused on character traits, which honestly helped me develop my leadership style, without quite knowing it then. But it was based off of character. They hired off of character. And I don't mean to say that in an arrogant kind of way. I know who I am, and I know who I try to be. And so I can be confident behind that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, because they're not, I mean, in that scenario, like at that point in your life, they weren't hiring on resume, right? Because it's like, you didn't have it yet.
Yeah.
But I think that, like I said, I think you've become such a dang good operator. And I would love to hear just like a couple nuggets on, how many people does Frontline have now? Like, how many people do you oversee?
Yeah, so
all in, right?
So fast forward now, this was 2013 when I took that job. Fast forward now, 2026. At our peak last year, 2025, we had about 171, 72 technicians.
Wow.
We have about 20 termite inspectors, office staff, including inside sales, about 50 people at our peak. In the last couple of years, it's been really fun because we've inserted new leadership. You could call it middle management. I know middle management sometimes has a negative connotation, but I actually think they're absolutely critical in maintaining and preserving culture and who we've become, because culture is often created by founders or whoever's at the top. And for a long time, our organization was very flat. Like there wasn't a lot of that in between.
Which you can get away with when you're young, and you
can get away with that. And you know, my fingerprints or the owner's fingerprints were everywhere. So like, we could have quite a bit of influence on what the business felt like.
Right.
You start introducing middle management and you know, these tiered leaders. It could either be very risky. I view it as a great opportunity, and so we have collectively of all these in varying degrees. Some are more upper level, some entry level leadership, but about 25 to 28 leaders there. And that is fun to me. I'm discovering this part of my career now. That's like, oh, like I knew that maybe this could happen in the future, but geez, for 10 years, it was a lot of in the trenches, operating, figuring out.
Yeah, it's like that difference of working in the business versus on the business, right?
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm sure when you go fly out to Maryland, you're connecting with a lot of your leaders to then be able to you're playing a multiplication game instead of like, I'm going to call a technician and tell him why he needed to do X, Y, Z differently.
Yeah, I've kind of had this realization that like I could, like authoritatively, I'm allowed to.
Oh, yeah, you're very much qualified to do that, and it wouldn't be weird if you did. It's just like, there's a kind of a higher and best use of your time, energy, resources, right?
But I also think that inadvertently, I think leaders that find themselves in this position inadvertently could actually harm the future of their business by overreaching.
100%.
And I've started to realize that by mistakes.
Yeah, I've made that mistake too, big time. It's hard not to. I think most leaders,
because it's like I know exactly what to do in the situation.
When I've done it, it's like.
But the moment you skip, you frog lead the leader that actually should, what it does to the lower level of the organization is it's confusing, because who's the entry level going to listen to? They're going to listen to the CEO, or they're directly and so that undermines the leader that's in place.
Yeah, and it dilutes their.
And it ultimately does what I don't want it to do. Is it might cause people to come upstream to me now for stuff when that's not the chain of command. So it's been a really neat lesson to learn. Again, I understand it in my mind, but by experience and through mistakes and feedback and talking to your people and staying close and realizing, like, you know what, like, it's probably time for me to back off. We do a lot of leadership training, love John Maxwell and a lot of his stuff, but he teaches a lot about the Pareto principle, and like You know, when somebody else can do something 80% as well as you can, it's probably time to start handing that off and being okay letting that go.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to do, especially when you know that you've done it and done it well. I'm not going to say perfectly, but like done it well to be successful, and to now hand it off to someone, and recognizing that that actually works, like actually seeing it work and then seeing it trickle down has been really cool. And in actuality, these people are doing it in some ways better than I did, because they're more specialized than I was. I was very much a generalist because I had to be. There's so many hats you're wearing, and you just kind of do enough to keep.
You might do it 10 out of 10, but you're spread so thin that you might be missing some of the things that are.
You just can't be everywhere. So now that you've added more help and leaders that ultimately help them be more specialized. So now you have eyes and ears in all parts of the business. They're doing it at a high level. We are doing it better than when it was just me at a $7 or $8 or $10 million business. So that's been really fun. And the stories are awesome. Like it's like intrinsically what I love about what I do is just seeing these success stories and people overcome their hardships, like just tremendous people that have done really cool things. And I don't know, when we're all a little bit vulnerable enough to share those experiences and share how we've grown, like it creates this energy and this momentum, this trust, where people feel like, wow, this is actually a place that I could see myself being for a while, and it's not just a job anymore. And that's cool. I really like that, and we're excited. Like we feel like we're at 30 million now, and like we're charting a course to where we can keep growing our business, and we're playing the game of business. Yes, it's true. We're trying to make money and to make it profitable and offer high quality service and make it a good experience. But to me, the mission within the operation is, man, these people and who they're becoming and the things that they're accomplishing for themselves, their families. I don't know. That's really fun to me, and I'm excited.
I love that. One of the things, and we'll close up here soon, but one of the things I love about your guys' group is the kind of the all-in mindset on playing a long game, like playing it long, right? I love that, and I think it's actually kind of rare in our space. Like everyone in our space wants to start a company, sell it, right off into the sunset, and like.
And I won't judge those. Like,
no, I don't either.
There's a lot of different ways to win at business, and there's nothing wrong with those business models. What I think is important is you need to know what model you're going to go, because then you have to accept the I guess the outcomes or consequences of that choice of how you're going to operate, how you're going to treat people. Right. So like, for example, we knew that we were going to sell, like, just like spin this up and sell it in 3 years. I think it would be hard to not form more transactional relationships.
That's what I'm saying and that is maybe where I see fault in our space, is there's this like, because we're going to sell it in 3 years, we're going to maybe cut some corners or do some things that we probably wouldn't do if we were playing a 10-year game. But because we're playing a 3-year game, and I've just never really seen that with you guys, right? Like even if at some point I have no problem with people selling their business and making money, and that's what you get into business to do anyway. So like I have no problem with that. I just love that you guys, it feels like whether you at some point down the road end up exiting or not, like you make decisions that feel like we're playing a long, long game. I heard an interview the other day on a YouTube channel, but I thought it was a cool idea, but it was this guy interviewing a billionaire, and the interviewer said, if you could go back and try to make $1 billion in like a year or two, like is there what's the fastest way to go make $1 billion? And the billionaire looked at the kid and basically said, I don't play 1 to 2 year games. I only play 10-year games. And like, I just thought that idea was really cool. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe with your guys' ownership group and with you and how you see things. So maybe just speak to that. Like, Frontline's game is long, and like, why?
And it's been long. Like the owners started Frontline in 2003. It was the first version of the business in Arizona, Texas. They did sell that in 2007. That was the model kind of in those early days, especially a door-to-door kind of spun up business. And that was fine, but I think for them, they wanted more than that. I'm not going to say it didn't feel good. Like it was probably a relief to like, oh, okay, like
made some money.
But that was it. Like it just like ended. And so when they started this, I'll just call it version 2.0 of Frontline, it was like, let's build something that can last and that could be really cool for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not just for the three of us and like we hustled and we made it to this point.
Right.
But like, let's do that. And I'm grateful for that. I'm a beneficiary of that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it easy for me to lead in that way because they're leading that way. So that alignment matters, because if I was like in a, hey, let's go quick exit mode, and they're like, no, we're playing the long game, it's not going to work.
No,
right?
yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay for people to have different, but you have to be honest with yourself and recognize, do I align or not? And if I don't, then something has to give. And in this case, it would be me, and I would have to opt out and say, we're obviously not in line, right? So, and this has been an evolution, right? Like, I have a lot to learn still, but as a younger person, you're still thinking about your family, your future. I shared with you some of my family and my story. Like, how am I going to retire? How can I position my family to like be okay and do well and be able to take trips and be comfortable, right? It doesn't have to be lavish, but we want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So balancing this end game of like, I want to get there, but what's the best way to do that? There's a lot of ways to do it, but so alignment matters a lot. And we always felt that we should build the business in a way that would be a desirable asset in a sale.
100%.
Not because you necessarily will sell next year or the year after. We may very well exit in that way in 10, 15 years, whenever. Like, we don't have like a date in mind.
Right.
But by building it that way means you're following proper business practices.
That's right.
Good customer retention practices to make it valuable down the road. So I feel like it's just the win-win way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we're kind of prepared to exit if we wanted to anytime. And I don't want to insinuate that that's what the plan is. But it gives you options, or we could hold on to it for a really long time, and that's also a win.
Yeah,
and
run a profitable business.
And right now, that's what it looks like for us. Is like, I have relationships now that have been lasting like a third of my life.
Yeah.
Which, growing up as a military brat, my relationships used to last maybe 2 years. So like, it's been a fun thing to see that. And like, our leaders now are 8 years, 9 years in with Frontline, 12 years, 15 years. It's like, I know these people's kids and their families, and they know mine, and I know them very well.
Yeah.
And not because we like rushed that relationship, because you can't do that, but it's just been consistently a little thing year after year where we just spend time together.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with stuff along the way too.
Mm-hmm.
And we share those things. We support each other in those things. And so it becomes enjoyable and easier to have challenging conversations, because you know that there's a layer underneath it where we actually have each other's best interests at heart. And that's not lip service. Some people say it, but I feel like we're experiencing it, and people can sense that. So every new hire, we just came back from a conference, a lot of new hires.
Yeah.
And they're looking around and they're talking to people, and they're like, man, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 8 years, 4 years. Right. And that's exciting for people to see that. I think deep down people want to belong to something like that.
Yeah.
But maybe they've been burned before. That hasn't been their experience of this case. So their hope or faith in that possibility maybe is diminished. So it's fun to see the light go off in people's eye or in their mind, like, oh, this was just a job in the beginning. I was just looking to do something until the next thing. But actually, if I just stay here and keep watering where I'm standing, like, the grass can be green right here.
I love that.
But it's still hard. Like, there's a lot of noise, and like, I know a lot of people in the industry, and you see transactions happen. You see people be successful. And I don't want to, like, I almost air quoted that, like, they are successful, but I don't know. We believe in having a successful life, and in some people's eyes, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have the most successful career, if that makes sense. And I don't know, that matters to me, and not just to me, to our executive team and to our leaders. And so we try to align in that way. And when it doesn't fit, we don't make a big deal out of it, and that's okay. Some people just feel differently.
Yeah. Well, I think you're attracting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a good job of attracting people. Like, your vibe attracts your tribe, and like, because those things are important to you guys. I've worked with a lot of your technicians, a lot of your people, and I feel like you're attracting that type of person, which is awesome. And I come from the Pointe Pest Control. We used to, sell for our branches.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. I'm very attracted to like working with operators.
Operation. Yeah.
I love working with operators that like play it long, attract the right type of people. They want to impact them as an individual. This isn't just a job, it's a family culture.
Mm-hmm.
And what a cool way to like go about, your career. And so
the reality too is like we have to accept the reality too that even though that's what we're trying to do, and I believe we're doing, I think we have a lot to improve on, but I believe we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of having a certain degree of tolerance and acceptance that things don't always go the way that we want them to.
Yeah.
And I'm careful in how I say that because it's not me being accepting or tolerant of incompetence or outright negligence or anything like that. But like you're growing a business, there are going to be new people, this with a brand new rep. I know that, like, that's why I think our relationship works is I know what it's like being that brand new rep.
Yeah.
And stumbling over my words or maybe not setting the right expectations. So my expectation of someone who's knocking their first doors week one is tremendously different than the 3 or 4 year vet who's just been there and done that. So like, but I know what that does. The rookie rep who set the wrong expectation because they were so nervous that someone said yes to their sale and like they forgot to whatever. And then my technician shows up and they have potentially a negative experience or they feel like, whoa, this customer has no clue what we're doing.
Yeah.
I need to help that technician understand the reality of what it's like to be a
I love
rep.
that.
And vice versa, hopefully reps. And I was that rep that was very intolerant of an incompetent technician.
No, I was too for a long time.
Like,
I mean, I think that for me, it's like there's been this evolution of when I started as a door rep, it was like I got ticked at the inside salespeople because they were stealing my sales, and I got ticked at the technicians that said something dumb. And nowadays I'm like, I'm a partner in Palisade, and I'm like, dude, I'm on both sides now where I run our sales program and I want my reps to make exceptional money. And then I also understand the ops side, like what an operator looks for. Like we want real accounts, that are actually going to pay their bills. And I think it's important that sales reps, if you're listening to this, like it's win-win or no deal, right? Like you need to do business and conduct yourself in a way that's good for the operator. And if you do, you will grow, you'll put on accounts, you'll make real money. Like money will follow that value. And but I think empathy from both sides is what has made our partnership work. Is you've done sales, our game. You know that a rookie the first couple of weeks doesn't know what the heck they're doing. They're probably going to sell a dumb account that is going to cancel immediately because they don't know what, there's just some of that.
Trigger a negative review or a bad phone call or whatever. Like the cops will get called.
Yeah.
Like, we get it.
Having empathy for the other side. Yeah.
And we need them.
And
for
for us,
brand new techs too.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And for us, it's like I have to be in my reps' ears like, dude, a technician is bound to do dumb things. They're bound to miss a job. It's like there has to be empathy from both sides. And that's where this thing has worked. And so if you're in the space, whether you're on the ops side like Gui or on the sales side like, our group, you have to have empathy. You have to understand win-win or no deal. And if you can, then you can make some magic happen. It's awesome and fun for us on the Pointe Marketing side because it's a way for us to make some cash. And then obviously we're helping build your guys' business, and it's been super win-win and fun. And I don't know when we started with you guys, what do you think you guys were at in rev? 10, 15 mil or something like that?
2020, we hit 10 million in 2020.
That's cool. So we've been a part of it, but like going from 10 to 30 mil over the last
we've tripled in
5 years. Pretty fun. Yeah.
Which, we've always grown. But our growth rate, and we've tried to be intentional with this. We always try to follow a controlled growth approach so that our quality would not suffer as a result of
could have grown faster.
Fast.
Yeah,
it could have grown faster. 100%. So those, I'll call them slower growth years, were very great learning years for me as a growing leader, developing operator, all of that. Very important lessons to learn there. But in the last 2 years especially, I feel like we're poised to accelerate a little bit, to pull on the and a lot of that has to do with our back-end operation, which about how we're trying to maximize, termite and other opportunities to help make customers stickier and grow and whatever. So, we're leveraging what we've done to this point in a way that's allowing us to grow at a little bit of a faster clip, but not necessarily feeling like we need to exert more effort.
Yeah.
Which sounds backwards, but like when you think of like a lever, you pull on it and you got your fulcrum there. Like the longer the lever is, the less effort you actually have to.
Right.
And that's been a cool discovery too. It's like, oh, like, because in your mind you think like, the bigger we are, like I'm not gonna have to work more hours. I'm gonna have to work harder. I'm gonna have to. And if you do it right with the right people, the right systems, right technology, the right partnerships, the right understanding, empathy, all these things kind of combine together.
Yeah.
It can actually accelerate in a little bit more of
it's a snowball. It just is the snowball rolls
like,
down the mountain, it gets bigger and bigger, and it just like it
yeah, it almost feels like I'm getting to a point where it's like I'm having less and less to do with our actual direct success.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But but the effort that I still have to put into, again, our leaders and allowing them to do that and not trying to jump all the way down, like that's where a lot of my time and energy is focused on, partnerships and relationships and anticipating the future. But that's fun. And you guys have been a huge part of it, like super grateful for, I know you have a lot of your reps listening and future reps or current reps, but like, one of the sad parts about not having our own teams anymore is that we don't know them personally.
Sure, yeah.
We were very good at this, and with the relationships were powerful. Like I'm a result of some of these relationships, just one example. And like you guys have the opportunity and have a front row seat to the stories that these reps turn into. So that's a little bit of a sad part of it for us. Is like we don't have a front row seat to that anymore as much as we used to. What makes me feel better about it is I know that you guys do, and you and I talk a lot, and it's great.
Yeah.
I love hearing this.
Well, and that's why I want our relationship to be intentional. Is like, you know, we want to have as close of a tie to our operator as possible, and I know you want to feel that way with your sales partner. And so, like, that's why I value our relationship a ton. I think me and you have a responsibility to, like, you know, be close buds and try to integrate our groups as much as possible. And maybe one last question, dude, and then we'll close up. Just advice that you have for my reps, like it could be anything, but like a lot of the people listening are reps that, I mean, we'll have probably 100 reps in your market this summer. You know, we have a goal of doing 10,000 accounts with you guys this year. What are you looking for? How can my people best prepare to create a win environment in your markets this year?
Oh man, that's a good question. So like, I don't want to get granular with like sales technique. Like you guys do a better job of that than I do.
Yeah, just anything that comes to your
mind. The first thing that comes to mind is to, and it's really hard to do this in this industry, especially if you're in door to door, is think outside of you. Like recognize that it's actually not you.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because when I was the rep, I thought it was me. Mm-hmm. And I had these little humble pie moments of like, you know, where you thought like something was owed to you or somebody wronged you. And without us, like these other things wouldn't happen. There's a degree of truth to that. I'm not going to minimize the reality of that. And I'm not even talking about necessarily even the operator side. Like there are customers, there are people in your personal life that just matter a great deal. And it's not just about, you know, just the end game that we're playing of trying to get that paycheck or whatever. And so if you can be disciplined enough to kind of slow down the game a little bit, like you and I talk about sports all the time. Like I think some of the greatest athletes have the ability to slow the game down and recognize that it's beyond just what we're doing day in and day out. And as a, you know, when I was doing this, when I was 23, I just didn't have that perspective. And I understand why I didn't have that perspective. Like I hadn't revolved around the sun enough yet. Like I just hadn't had enough experience yet. And so I don't know, I would say, think beyond you, trust those who have been there and done that, like develop those relationships. They matter a lot more than maybe you think they do at this stage. And I was that, I didn't think that they would matter. I was one of those sales reps that like, I was kind of like, why should I go to Correlation? I'm going to go work hard. But at Correlation is where I developed relationships, and I did learn things that I thought I knew.
I didn't
know. And like being okay spending time in activities or with people that maybe don't have a direct return to you. Because in sales, when the clock starts and you're out knocking your first door, that clock is ticking, and that's what matters. Like you don't get paid by the hour. So you're trying to maximize every moment. So just be careful not to like have that attitude.
Yeah.
Especially in relationships. Cause I've seen those go sour.
And I have some regrets from my first couple summers. Like the story just came to my mind just barely as you were sharing that. But like, I remember there was a sale. I got a sale. I sold this lady's mom, and then I think at some point later in the summer, she like called the office and like referred someone. And it was like 2 months later, and I like found this out, and I like got pissed at the inside sales rep.
Right.
Like called him, like, dude, what the heck, man? Like I'm out here busting it, grinding, and you don't even give me the sale. And I was so young and dumb, you know.
Yeah.
And I hesitate sharing that story because it's like, for a first year sales rep, every dollar matters, and it's your livelihood, and you're poor, and like
I get it. Yeah.
But like I think I damaged some relationships, kind of being so myopic and so like hungry for my next sale. It is about me. It's about me out here. I'm grinding and I'm paying the price, so I deserve to make some money, and like every sale should be mine type thing. And I just I definitely echo what you're saying. It's just like you need to push yourself to be abundant and create real value. Money will follow value. Like it will follow value. Just keep adding value. Keep focusing on the next thing that you can control,
right? And
the next way that you can add value, both in revenue but also in relationships. And relationships matter a ton. And prioritizing relationships early on when you're poor is important. And it's an abundant muscle you have to build. But you'll never create a lot of wealth if you burn a bunch of bridges along the way. And I think that's like.
Well, you asked me earlier, like why did I get the phone call?
Yeah.
Right. I suspect I know it's true for you as well, because we talked about this, and Gabe and everyone, like, but when I talk to people about their careers, like the business eventually is going to figure out what their needs are.
Yeah.
Like, what do we need to do? And then the very next question in that conversation is what? It's going to be who.
Yeah.
So once they figure out the what and where, like, what are we going to do and why and all this stuff.
Who's the guy? Yeah.
The next question in that conversation is who.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it then. Like when I was selling and doing stuff, like I was trying to do it the right way, just because that's who I am. And I wasn't trying to take advantage or hurt people or whatever. But I don't know, that would be my advice. Like do it in a way so that whenever that who conversation comes up, that like your name naturally is part of that conversation. And you can't manipulate or force that, but you can do it by having a lot of consistent inputs that add value, that build abundance, and that make you more marketable, likable, whatever you want to say. Because those who conversations or those who questions are going to come up in your business.
100%. I mean, I even
in my business and moving forward. And who's going to come to mind? Well, the people that you trust.
Yeah.
The people who have been consistent, the people who were humble, that asked for forgiveness when they screwed up. They're like, oh, shoot, I totally mishandled that. Like, sorry. Like, so like.
And it's the people that give. It's not the people that just are always taking, you know?
Yes.
And I think like I look at a bunch of my leaders and like, they're all amazing, but there's for sure some of them that I just feel like are more abundant. And it is this like, how can I add value mentality? And some of them they take a lot more than they give, you know? And
sure.
And I want to work long-term with people that, like if I'm in a foxhole, like they would jump on the grenade for me, you know? And so I think that's a really great way to finish this, is just like prioritize relationships, make the right decisions, keep your character intact, and have integrity, and opportunities will come. They will come. So I love that. And dude, I appreciate you coming on. This has been so fun, and I'm so grateful for you. I hope you know that. And we know that the next couple years are going to be super bright. We're
super excited.
Both our programs are growing, and we're kind of rising together, which is super fun. And so let's go crush it this year and dominate. It's January now. We got a couple more months to prepare for 2026 summer.
We're gearing up too.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So anyway, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
We love you guys. I mean, love my relationship with you and with Gabe and with others. Like it's no surprise to me what you guys are doing and how you're doing it. And that's why I think this works. So yeah,
appreciate
grateful to
that.
have a chance to share some of that. So.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.